Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into something quite profound, I think. We're unpacking an idea from our source material about faith, specifically why it defines the path of faith as, well, going against the flow of this world, which, let's be honest, probably isn't the first thing that jumps to mind for many people. The source immediately draws this really sharp contrast. It says, this path, it's not about chasing worldly success or guaranteed comfort. No, it actually describes it as potentially frightening, maybe involving loss, maybe even putting your life on the line sometimes. It's quite a perspective.
It is. And what's really interesting is how the source anchors this historically.
Okay.
It argues this isn't new. This challenging path has always been part of the biblical narrative. The argument is that more recently we got caught up in, I think the phrase was, an excessive engrossment of what we wanted to hear and see.
Okay, excessive engrossment. So we basically tuned into the parts we liked.
Pretty much. We focused on one aspect, maybe the more comforting parts, and missed this other core truth about resistance and challenge. We kind of curated our own version.
That's a bold statement. How did that play out? What were people starting to expect instead?
Well, the source points directly to prosperity theology as a key example. The belief that strong faith, obedience, giving, that these things directly lead to material riches, good health, worldly success, like a formula.
Right, I've definitely heard that. Faith equals blessings equals stuff.
Exactly. But the source throws a wrench in that. It asks, okay, if that's the measure of faith and blessing, what about Jesus? I mean, the text reminds us, he did not eat and live well. He died young and, died on a cross.
Yeah, hardly the picture of worldly success by those standards.
Not at all. So, if prosperity theology were the rule, Jesus himself would look like he lacked faith or God's favor, which is obviously not the message. The source stresses he isn't about worldly blessing in that sense. He is our way, our truth, and our life, the one who restored our relationship with God, often through immense hardship.
So it completely reframes success. It suggests the real path involves pushing back against the world's values.
Precisely. And that pushing back, that going against the flow, naturally brings challenges.
So why? Why is that inherent friction, that resistance, so central to this view of faith?
The source explains it pretty directly. Trials and tribulations aren't like punishments or random events. They're seen as a natural result of choosing God's way in a world that, operates differently. He uses that analogy.
Yeah.
Going against the flow of water naturally meets great resistance. If you swim upstream, you're going to feel the current pushing back.
Okay, swimming upstream. So the struggle itself isn't a sign you're failing.
Quite the opposite, according to this. The source presents these challenges as opportunities to consciously choose only one path, the path of the Word. It's about focus. And enduring these trials with patience, that's what purifies our faith and makes us more mature in it.
Purifies and matures. How so?
Think of iron, the source suggests. It becomes strong, really hard, when it's heated intensely and hammered repeatedly. Our faith, when tested by these pressures, is similarly refined, becomes stronger, more resilient. The impurities get burned away, you could say.
That's a powerful image, hammered into shape.
It really is.
So, wrapping this up for you, the listener, if you've chosen this life, one that deliberately goes against the flow of this world by believing in Jesus, the source seems to say that the hardships, the adversity, the resistance, it's not just normal, it's potentially something to be truly rejoiced in. So here's the final thought. What if those difficulties aren't a sign something's wrong, but actually proof that you are a child of God, navigating that unique upstream path? And what if embracing that struggle is the way to walk it with real joy?